Hey guys, welcome back to my studio. So for our next project that I'm going to show you, this one will probably take you a while if you're doing a good job. We are going to do progressive rhythm. So with progressive rhythm in art, think of it kind of like in music. With progressive rhythm, you start with one rhythm and then it evolves into a different rhythm. So what we are doing is we are taking an object and we are evolving it progressively into an animal. Okay, so you need to think of a object and an animal to morph that object into. So in this example, I did a toaster in 4 stages, and this one is a student example, and I recommend you sketching out some ideas in your sketchbook, kind of figure out, draw your object, draw your animal, draw one that's 50-50, and then draw your animal. And then you can draw 2 more that are in between, one that's like 25%, one that's 75% animal. So sketch out your idea first and think about what those are going to look like as they evolve. What is something that is half guinea pig and half stapler look like? Well, she thought it looked like that. So if it's in between this and this, she thought it would look like that. And I love that the gap at the front of the stapler is like the buck teeth. I think that one might be my favorite version of this. So this one is in between 50% and full-blown guinea pig. Okay, so there's that one. This one, we took a Tootsie Pop and morphed it into a crane. So there is 50-50, 25%, and 75%. Okay, so we went from all the way from Tootsie Pop to crane. And this one's kind of hard to see because they colored it yellow, but we started with a banana and morphed it. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into a tree frog. So you'll probably need to come up with a picture of your object and a picture of your animal. Draw those 2 first and put them out on the different sides. Okay, then draw your one that's 50-50. The toaster and the platypus, I did that in 4 stages. As long as your morphs make sense, you can do it in 4. You need to have at least 4. 5 is usually a little bit easier because for some reason it's easier to think, okay, object, animal, 50-50, and then stages in between of those. But your transitions need to make sense as far as going from the object into the animal. Okay? So let me get my sketchbook out. I have an idea for what I want to do, and I'll get you started. Okay, so I've got my banana and I've got my squid. I started out by actually drawing some ovals on my page so I could tell how big I needed to keep these to have them all fit on here and kind of work out my composition. So I'm obviously going to be elongating this banana. So if it's in between this banana and this squid, what is something that's 50-50 going to look like? Okay, so it's obviously going to be about half as big as this. In between, so maybe about here and here. Okay, so if it's half banana, okay, I'm going to open up my peel, and that's going to turn into my tentacles. So I'm going to be exaggerating the amount of peels that are opening up here, and this little brown end of my banana is going to start morphing into these little swimmy fins that they have up here. probably gonna have to like start putting a dent in here to account for the cap. Maybe that's where it's gonna start opening up. I think that would actually probably make more sense. Okay. So maybe I can start splitting these. There's like about four. There's about 4 decent sections on my banana. There's 5 actually, but we're just gonna say there's 4 right now, and I'm gonna split those. Those are gonna start separating into these other tentacles, I think. And then I'm gonna have the actual banana in here that is coming out and starting to split into these grabby tentacles here. So I feel maybe I need to go ahead and split these so I can tell that they're starting to become tentacles. You might sketch these out several different times before you figure out what you feel like that transition should actually look like. And I'm going to make this one bump really big here. So I'm going to have a black dot here that's going to slowly start like turning into this eye here. So I've got my banana 50-50 squid, and maybe I can go ahead and start these 2 now. So I will come back to this in just a minute. Okay, so I have got my banana 50-50 squid, and then I've got my 25% and 75%, and I think this actually makes a lot more sense as far as the progression goes. I really recommend drawing little ovals or circles really lightly just to work out how big you can draw these before it messes up your paper, because honestly, if I had drawn this any bigger, it wouldn't have made sense and it wouldn't have fit properly. So now that I have this like sketched out, now I can go back in and add all of these really good textural details, all of the shadows and values. If you've got colored pencils or crayons or markers, you can go ahead and color it if you want. Otherwise, I think I'm going to try to use some colored pencils on this. Maybe even some watercolor. That might be cool. But anyway, so this is where I'm at for today. I'm going to go back in and solidify these drawings, and then I'll address the values and textures and all that good stuff. So think about what object you want to use. It can be anything around your house. Make sure that you find a picture or an object that you're actually looking at to draw. And then find a picture of the animal you want to use and try to get that as close as possible as far as the proportions. And then think about, okay, well, how would this look if it was slowly turning into that? I did actually work this out a couple of different times. And this is actually on the back of the original go at this. So initially I started with 4. I started out way too big because I didn't do my ovals because I thought, well, I got this. 4 wasn't enough. It was in a really big jump from here to here to here. And I really just needed that 5th 50-50 squid, banana squid, to make the transition make sense. So I'll work on this more, and I can't wait to see what you guys decide to draw and come up with. I think it'll be great. Okay, so I have solidified my drawing. I did mine in fine tip Sharpie. You could use ink pen or whatever you want. I did mine darker just so you guys could see it better on the video. But I've gone in, I've included some values here and included my textures. I do need to go back with my big eraser and erase all my pencil lines. But you can see my transition here from banana to squid. So I'm going to start hitting this with some color and some better values and finish it up. So yeah. Okay, so I have finished my Ani-morph. Hi, Layla. I'm almost done. Go on. Okay, so I have finished my Ani-morph. So my progressive rhythm has not only gone from a banana to a squid, it has also morphed and progressed in color as well. These are all of the colors that I've used. Notice there is no black. Complementary colors actually work really, really well for shadows. So I've used green and brown in this one where it's just the banana. And then I've actually started using purple in on these yellows and oranges. It just makes a nice subtle, I don't lose all of my color. It's not overwhelmed by that black. So you may absolutely search the internet and look for inspiration. I am very familiar with the examples that are on the internet. So please come up with your own work. You can absolutely be inspired by someone else's work, but do not be a lame-o. So you need to modify it and make it yours. Change it up somehow, okay? So this is it. This is progressive rhythm, and this is what it looks like, what it can look like in art. So I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I'll talk to you later. Bye.